Welcome, folks, to Eye on the Illini. This is Mike Kegley with Kedrick Prince and Illini legend Marcus Griffin. We will be joined later on by Brad Sturdy. And guys, to me, this was a workmanlike effort. You win by 9. I didn't think he played particularly great. I didn't think anybody played particularly bad. I walk away thinking that Steinbach is a heck of a player, and Waggler's a heck of a player, and beyond that, and Merkovich actually played well. I didn't get a lot of that. I guess it was nice to see Ben get a chance to nail some shots and look good out there. So, Ked, what are your thoughts after this victory? Which, isn't it great that we're Illini fans and now we can start judging the victories, like not good enough, that type of thing?
Yeah, you can say that. I mean, it's weird to say, but we mentioned this last podcast. This team is good, and we need to say they're good. And you hit the nail on the head. It was a very workmanlike performance tonight, and you take the win no matter how it looks. A lot of people were looking at this as a trap game. I knew it wasn't a trap game. Illinois, they didn't come out flat. They didn't make shots. Because they didn't make shots doesn't mean that they were flat. But they came out and they did what they had to do. At the end of the day, they got to win, and that's all that matters. I think Washington had a lot to do with how Illinois looked tonight. They were very, very physical. I think they were physical from the jump, and I think the officials let it go that way. So, and it worked out to Illinois' advantage. They missed free throws at the beginning of the game, but you're right, Mike. This was a game that, you know what, it was ugly, and you kind of expected them to win.
Marcus?
Yeah, nothing here jumped off the table. Like I've said this plenty of times, you got to have workmanlike style games if you're trying to win a Big Ten championship. You're going to have them. You're going to have those oddball games, and this was a different type of test because you wanted to see was there still going to be up for this game, even though it bookends a game before then a game after. So they came out. I won't say they was flat, but they came out. Illinois has to know that they're going to take every team's best shot. Every team is going to come out willing to give Illinois a good shot. So Illinois figured out a way to win. It was good to see a couple of other people knock down some shots because it seems like – but I still would like to see the ball off of Wagner's hands a lot more because his usage is just so high. But it looked like this game they did not let him bring the ball up the floor a lot. They gave it to him more at the half-court set and let him break offense down like that because I think they felt they wearing him down too much. But other than that, nobody got hurt on the Saturday.
Sunday.
Yeah, against the Cornhuskers.
Sunday, folks. That's the big one. You can see it going across the scroll down at the bottom. Illinois at Nebraska. Boy, you got to play a revenge game. That's a tough place to have to play it at.
On top of the fact that they just lost to Michigan, Mike. So that's going to be a great environment. Illinois is going to be up for the task. They just will be. I don't know if they're going to win or not, but I know they're not going to walk up there sleepwalking, and they know what this game meant and I thought tonight was the same way. It's a different game. I mean, everybody was so excited about Purdue last week, which I don't blame them, and for anybody to say that Katon Waggler won't score 46 points again, I would never say that. He may score 35, 40, but to say he can't get close to that again, I don't know. I mean, again, Washington was physical with him, and they didn't switch, and they had big guards on him, and he was still able to get by and put up 22 points.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but I just don't understand defense no more. I sat there and I watched that game with Purdue, and I love the fact that I get to say this, that one of our guys got 46 points. But I don't think ever in the history of my life playing basketball that I believe maybe one person ever got 30 points in a game that I played in. I just don't understand how defenses allow a person to get 50. Maybe I'm just old school. I would have fouled. I would have tripped. I would have did something.
Purdue I think they had a bad defense. They thought they switched everything, and then they had their bigs who could not guard him. The thing with him that I've learned, and it doesn't matter. I mean, this isn't a secret. it doesn't matter if you're a guard, if you're big or not. When you come out to close out on him, if you close out with the wrong foot, you are done with him. He is going to attack the other side, and he's going to get to the rim. He's either going to score, get fouled, or kick it out for a three. He has mastered that, and he's quicker than what he looks like. So, I mean, it's weird that the way they guarded him, and then because they were so slow, because they were big men, he was able to pull the step back and get shots off. If they would have had a guard on him the entire time, he wouldn't have scored 40. So 46, I don't think.
Rebuttal. But that's what I don't understand, because I can remember a dude, and I don't know if y'all know Howard Nathan.
Yep, I remember him.
Very good basketball player. I used to remember him coming to the gym, and then he will train me in sending a guard one way. No matter whatever way you pick a way, you get up on that hand and you send him that way. Basketball is not taught that at all anymore on any level. And it just blows my mind that you see it at the highest level, that people close out. If you just see how they close out, of course they're going to get attacked. I wasn't the quickest, but if you close out right, and if you hit 8 threes in my face, I'm not letting you shoot 9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I thank you, Purdue, for letting my guy get 46.
Well, let's speaking of that, let's look at some of the stats for tonight's game, just so that people who are maybe in cars right now, listening to us, what have you, if they don't have the ability to take a look at it. You had Illinois with Merkovich with 19 points, 7 for 15 shooting, 6 boards and an assist. You had Stojakovic with 8 points, 4 for 11 shooting, 3 boards. Tomislav, 7 points, 6 boards, 3 assists, had a couple nice passes. Jake Davis, 3 points, 3 rebounds, and assist. Waggler, 22 points, 5 rebounds, 8 assists. Rickhouse, 14 points, 4 for 6 shooting for him, 3 rebounds. And Big Z had 2 points and 5 boards, as Illinois ended up at 75 points tonight. Steinbach led the way for Washington with 15 points and 12 boards. And I think probably the biggest note when you look at the overall stat sheet was Washington shot 45% to Illinois' 43%. Illinois was superior from the 3-point line, 33-26. Free throws, Illinois was 63%. Let's hope they got that out of their system, because you shoot like that against Nebraska, probably going to cost you a victory. 10 turnovers for Washington, only 5 for Illinois. 8 points off of turnover for the Illini compared to 4 for Washington. Total rebounds was tied, gentlemen. That's the first time in a while, 34-34. Defensive rebounds, Washington 23-20, and offensive rebounds, Illinois 14-11. Second chance points, though, Illinois was much more efficient. I can think of a couple times, at least one, that Washington in the second half went 0 for 4, didn't get any points. But Illinois was 24-4 in second chance points. The bench points were tied at 16. Points in the paint, Washington had a 34-28 advantage. Fast break points, Washington 12-1 advantage over the Illini. Washington had 5 blocks, and again, that was another one where I thought Steinbach was really good at. Steals 4-3 Illinois, assists tied at 13. Illinois led for 33 minutes and 46 seconds compared to 4:33 for Washington. Washington got off to the better start, and that really helped them. And if, I know people like to talk about it, so I just throw it out there for fun. But in terms of the plus minus, Rickhouse led the way at 11. Then we had Big Z, Waggler, Stojakovic, and Merkovich all at 9, with -2 for Jake Davis and 0 for Tomislav. And again, I think this Illini team, a relatively sedate 1.271 points per possession. And I thought that Washington played hard, and I think that makes a difference. But again, when I look at what was going on, I thought Illinois started off slow and then picked up the pace there. It was just interesting because it seemed like every time Illinois had the ability to get move that lead up to 13 or something, that's when you would get the turnover, the foul, the missed shot, and I'll give Washington credit. They fought. I think Steinbach's a first-round pick, so I don't think he'll be there next year to help him out. Kat, any thoughts on some of the stats?
Well, the thing that jumped out to me, I mean, we know how good of an offensive team Illinois is and how good of a defensive team they are when it comes in terms of rebounding. I just thought Washington came in with a really good game plan. They were undermanned. They don't have the talent that Illinois has. I agree with Marcus. I mean, they're going to get everybody's best shot. And I'm going to tell you who else, ladies and gentlemen. Katon Waggler is going to get everybody's best, no matter what. When they came out face guarding him with a big body, you know what? He didn't show any emotion. I guess the one thing he did show, he was upset with the free throws that he missed, which I don't blame him. That has nothing to do with it. Has something to do with the game, but it doesn't. But I have to give credit to them. And everybody is going to do a gimmick defense to do something with him. They may have an athletic big who's quick enough, who's 6'11", to guard him, but he's going to get by them. So statistically speaking, the only thing that jumps out to me that I was a little bit, I don't want to say disappointed with more than anything, was to watch Thomas Law struggle from the field. He was 3 for 11, and Z was only 1 for 5. I know we mentioned the fact that Keaton had 8 assists. I'm telling you, Tommy missed a lot. He would have had a double-double tonight if Tommy would have made a couple of those, because he was 1 for 8 from 3. A lot of those threes, I think at least 4 or 5 of those looks came from Keaton. So they're going to need a better shooting performance from them if they're going to go up to beat Nebraska. They were 11 for 33 for 33%. You want to be around that 38, 39% if you're going to have a chance to win and against really good teams.
Yeah, this game, can you bring up the stats one more time?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, as I'm looking here, it was good to see Big Merkovich. I think I'm pronouncing his last name right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was good to see him get back up there with a high double-digit game. I'm ready. I need him to get back to getting those high double-digit rebound games like he was doing at the first half of the year. Seems like he's not been putting forth. I know the flu and everything that went through the whole team, but I think it'd be nice to see him get back to those high double-doubles. But everybody else, Wagner had a very easy 22. It was good to see some threes fall early, but 33% from the three, that's not going, and 43% from the field, that's not going to get it done this weekend. It's really not going to get it done this weekend. They're going to have to shoot around a 48 clip because Nebraska is not going to shoot 43% from the field. They're a very good perimeter shooting team. So it's going to be a great contest. This game was solid. What I like to see, though, 5 turnovers. With the pace that Illinois plays and only turning the ball over 5 times, and with the ball in Wagner's hand as much as it is, and he only had 1 turnover tonight. So his IQ is what I'm seeing is getting better and better as every game goes by. So if he can keep on developing that and guys can continue to play defense and knock down some shots, maybe they can go into Nebraska and upset those boys. But it's going to be a tough challenge.
Yeah. And I thought the other thing that I liked about Illinois, there were at least 3 possessions I can think of where I thought a guy could have shot, but they did that extra pass and got the open 3 from that. And maybe that's what they need to get that extra little bit of boost for the percentage. But I thought they did a nice job of carrying the ball a little bit tonight, which I liked. And I also think – go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, after you get done, I was going to say something else.
No, go ahead, because I was going to go off on a different tangent.
Oh, okay. Tommy, he was 1 for 8. What I need to see from my big fella, my man, you're not knocking down the threes. I need you to get a bunny. Like you shot that jump hook first was it the first half or the second half? Right awesome, over the left shoulder, had a little bitty guard on him.
Yep.
When you miss 5, and I understand They want them to shoot a lot of threes, but get something to go into the rim. Give me something that you being dominant, get fouled, and then let that basket open up for you a little bit. Let's not sit out there at 28 feet and continue to shoot those threes. Give me you go 0 for 2, 0 for 3. Okay, now I need to get something to go in. Let me get my back to the basket a little bit. Let me throw up a jump hook. Let that rim open up a little bit, and then let me step back out there. But to continue to shoot threes, we wanting for him to build up some games to get his confidence back so he's looking like the big fella that he was looking like last year. And when he's just shrinking up threes all the time and they're not going in, like, we got to figure out plan B. That's all.
Yeah. I used to like to set up my 3-point shooters with an easy layup to start the game.
Yeah.
I always felt like if your 3-point shooter gets a easy, especially if you saw a way like on the opening tip to have a little fun, get your 3-point shooter feeling good about himself, then do it. I told my oldest son, who was a 3-point shooter, I'm like, dude, that's a tough way to make a living. So you better play defense and you better get rebounds, because otherwise you go 0 for 3, you just sit right next to me, because I don't need a 3-pointer. You can't shoot 3-pointers.
Well, you know what's tough too, fellas? I don't understand. He can do it. That's the sad thing about it. He can do it. Exactly. And I mean, and I'm not asking. I don't know. I like to shoot threes. That's what I did. You know, that's what got me in the college. But I'm going to tell you, for some reason, and he doesn't. And he's a better low post player than his brother. And I mean, in the offense, it's okay to do it, because I'm going to tell you, David is able to do it. He's able to back down and get shots off. So I just think it would help his confidence. And tonight he looked like he took a step back again. He looked like there was a couple of times I'm like, son, jump. Just go get it or try to jump. He just looked like he was exhausted again. And I'm not being critical of him. Nobody's saying that. We're just dissecting his game. And I think he would be a much better effective player, because here's the deal. If he gets fouled on it, he's a good free throw shooter. And you get their bigs in foul trouble. That's the other thing. So Illinois doesn't foul a lot, but if you can get them in foul trouble and take advantage of that when your shot's not falling, I agree with you. No, nobody's expecting him to go down to be a Kofi Coburn. We're not expecting that. But at least a couple, because you're right. 1 for 8 from 3, and that's fine if you're going to get 8 or 9 shots on the block.
I hope I'm not asking for a lot.
Yeah, and I almost texted Marcus when he made that shot on the inside, because I figured Marcus was sitting at home with a big smile on his face.
Yeah. I'm like, about time.
And we had that same type of discussion is think about the difference. Again, not critical one way or the other. Just think about how much tougher the Illini are if he goes down and makes that shot, even 2 times a half. Because now all of a sudden you have to honor him anytime he gets there, which opens up the 3 for everybody else. And then when he does pull out, now you got a center going, crap, I got to go out there and guard him. I mean, it just makes life really hard. And so I'd like to see him getting it shooting, get that shot back a little bit.
When he is that aggressive and he is looking to dominate down low, he don't even have to score. Just the fact that he's looking to do it, it just makes Illinois that much harder to guard, because people are going to a 7'2" guy on the block, 7'1" guy on the block. They're going to get additional eyes on him, and so that's going to be able to kick out for wide open walk-in threes.
Yeah, and I just look at the team. It was nice to see Ben play and hit some shots, because I will say something. The one thing I do get tired of people saying, but I think his defense has improved markedly between this year and last year. And I don't understand how fans can't see that, because he is really not. I mean, there were times last year that you were like, okay, he's still adjusting to the Big Ten. Yeah. And this year he can go out and guard people and much better than he could last year. And so I was just hoping, I was kind of hoping for a game like this, and it's good timing because they're gonna need all the shots they can get at Nebraska. And as was noted, Ben does hustle. There's no doubt about that, and you don't have to worry about that from him.
Here's two things with Ben. Mike, you asked why people were upset about it. is people like me and other guys with big Twitter followings who talked about how good of a shooter he was and what he was able to do. Then when
So it's your fault.
A lot of it, because when he did it, I mean, I said it and Coach Underwood said it, and so did the other assistants. He didn't do that last year. So what is he supposed to do? I mean, you see people make comments on this board, on message board. That's what he was brought in to do. And then last year when he struggled, so fans automatically, they don't look at his defense. They don't think about that. And I was going to ask you to bring that up, Mike. That was my second part of my comment. I'm always complimentary of other teams. I just am. And I don't think people understand Washington was physical. It's because it's Washington. Nobody really cares about them. They weren't supposed to do anything. The record doesn't look good. But this comment by Bootzilla74 is 100% right. I knew Illinois was – and if you think about it, this Washington was, 11-6, 11-7. The spread was only 10 or 12 points. So nobody was expecting Illinois to come in and blow them out because they've been in games. This is a really good basketball team. And Mike is a 100% right, as far as the NBA guys, because this Steinbeck guy, he is the one guy, I don't know if you saw it in the Big Ten, I think the only guy in the Big Ten that averages double-double. Ladies and gentlemen, if Katon Waggler was not in the Big Ten, this kid will be your freshman of the year in the Big Ten.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you. Long term, I see that kid as being a really good NBA player, and where I'm seeing him in the draft, I would pick him higher than a lot of guys would, because I saw him block. He gave Waggler, his quickness gave Waggler a little bit of problem, because I think he got at least to one of those block shots. I don't think Waggler thought he was going to be able to get to it.
The first one of the game, he was the first shot of the game.
Yeah, and you guys know how it goes. It's one thing to have a guy taller than you block your shot. It's another thing when he gets there way quicker than you thought he was going to, and you're like, whoa, I got to think about this one again. When you're driving, you got to figure out, like, okay, when do I need to get this shot off in front of him? Right. So I thought he was impressive, and this Washington team, they went through a huge. There was a stretch for both them and Illinois. It was almost like a Saturday Night Live skit where neither team could shoot. And the second half started off a little bit different, than that.
Mike, I want to make another comment about Ben, if you don't mind, really quick.
Yep, go right
Somebody
ahead.
made a comment, and I'm not going to take the credit for it. I'm going to see who said it, but they're 100% right. Truthfully, no, I'm not bragging about Twitter. I'm just saying right now the Twitter following is big. I'm sorry, it is. I'm not saying that. You misread that and read into it, but whatever. My point is, back to Ben. Somebody made a comment, and I think they're right about Ben. He's catching and shooting a lot quicker than what he did before, and so he's not thinking about it. When he's open and he's wide open, he's thinking, he's winding it up, and now he's just catching and shooting quick. He had one in the first half against Purdue that was catch and shoot, which was really quick. And I just saw a comment that Coach Underwood talked about how he never makes a mistake on the scouting report, how smart he is. It's good to have him, and he's accepted his role. He doesn't think, he's not out there trying to do what, think, okay, I got to make this. And if he's not making it, he's going to tip the ball out. There was a tip-out ball he had against Purdue that was huge. So you got to take the good. Nobody's going to play a perfect game. I'm sitting here. I'm not going to say you guys and dissecting, Tomislav's game, but he had two big threes against Purdue, and if he don't make those threes, Illinois doesn't win. So this is one game. They're not going to – Griff, you played at that level. I played college ball, nothing like to your level. But the bottom line is this, man. You're not going to play great every night. You got to go out there, and if you're not going to do things great, you're going to have to do that. And Chris is right. Andre is pressing. He went from 30 points against Maryland, and he's pressing. But I can assure you, at some point in time, he's going to come back, and he's going to be a big part of the offense again. And it's not that he's not getting shots. I mean, you just go through phases. People talk about the freshman slump. You go through that sometimes.
Can I say something about Stojakovic? If you remember at the beginning of the year where he was getting his shots from, he is not getting those shots in the same places. He was getting a lot of elbow ISOs. If you remember, a lot of elbow ISOs, wing ISOs. Yep. Now that the season has progressed, he's not getting those shots anymore. And I don't know what has changed. I don't know if it's aggression level I don't know if coach is forcing him to play more on the defensive side or whatever.
They're taking it. You play in the Big Ten. They have taken that away from him. The scouting in the Big Ten. I've heard a number of parents say it, players say it. The biggest difference between the Big Ten and SEC basketball and men's basketball, people will tell you it is strictly the scouting. Brad Underwood said he hates it. He's glad when the postseason comes because they take that away. Because think back to the game when they played Alabama and Chicago. He got to the elbow whenever he wanted. He was able to do it against UConn, and he was able to go do it against Tennessee. But in the Big Ten, they take away your tendencies. They try to make you do things that you don't do. And Illinois tries to do the same thing. Brad Underwood just literally mentioned that a comment a few minutes ago, and I just said it. His players, Ben Rickhouse is one of the best players on the team as far as paying attention to the scouting report. Good.
Ken, I put this out there just because I knew you were sitting down. So I knew we weren't going to have you fall off, and I was kind of worried I was going to have one of those "I'm coming to join you, Elizabeth" moments. Because St. Dominic's Rosary, all of a sudden we've got 2 positive comments in a row. Although, again, it was more a comment about Tyler as opposed to Dad. But anyway, I will tell you that Tyler Underwood, if you ever get a chance to talk to him, is one of the most down-to-earth guys you run into. He doesn't look down upon people. And I will tell you, he also spends a lot of time studying the NBA stuff, and you're starting to see that show through. And I think he outcoached Matt Painter, but I also think Painter we found the limitations of Painter's team in terms of the foot speed of that team outside of Braden Smith is not good. And man, when they start trying to switch stuff, they just get into all sorts of problems. And you got a guy like Waggler who can diagnose on the court. That's a dangerous thing for a team. But I had to put this out there because we don't usually see St. Dominic's Rosary with the positive comments. So I just had to put that out there, Ked.
Mike, I want to say this. I remember back I was in October, middle of October, when I went down to media day. I got lucky. I didn't have my microphone. I was tired of interviewing the players, so I just sat there and hung out and talked to Coach Underwood. And I brought it up. I brought up Tyler Underwood myself. And the fact of the matter is, it doesn't matter. Illinois could have the best offense, which they've had in the last 2 or 3 years. Illinois has been there. Because he is Brad Underwood's son, he's never going to get the credit he deserves. I'm telling you, I lived that myself. I'm not going to make this about me, but no matter what, if I had a son that produced who was an all-state basketball player in the state of Illinois, when you got Peoria and Chicago and Decatur, and people still found reasons to complain because I was his father, I told Tyler the same thing. You're never going to win that. He can have one of the best offenses, and if you go back and look at the press conferences this week, he talked about what he did and how smart he is, but Brad's not able to go out and say how smart his son is, or X's and O's and how much time he spends. Because I'll tell you what, I'll take Brad Underwood out of it. I will tell you who told me. Orlando Antigua flat out said to me, quote, "Kid, that kid is brilliant. He's going to make a lot of money one day because he is smart with an offense, X's and O's." He said he doesn't overstep his boundaries with Coach with Coach Underwood. He didn't say Dad, but he's brilliant and he's very smart. So he's never going to win. We can sit here and argue this all we want. You cannot like the offense. It is different. I like sets, but the offense works and everybody gets a shot out of it. So we can not like it because he's his father. But if it was anybody else that was running that offense, people wouldn't say anything because you're averaging over 80-some points a game. And they've led the Big Ten in scoring 2 out of the last 3 years.
Can I say something?
Yep.
I
right
just love it when I get an opportunity to be devil's advocate to Kid. I just love it. Kid, I will say this. The only time they will ever acknowledge it when it wins, when it matters the most. And we have seen countless games in the tournament that our offense have broken down and we have not made any adjustments to the offense. And I think that's where more fans be wanting to be on him. I don't think it's about regular season. He is great. I can't knock everything that he's doing. But I think now with all the success that Illinois has had, it's about those small adjustments that get you from an Elite Eight to a Final Four. I think that's what fans need to see now. And I think once they see that consistently then you will not be able to hate on that young man. Then you're going to have to give him the credit that he deserves. But I think until then, when we be like, okay, we down 6 at half of the Elite Eight game, and our offense has been bogged down, what adjustments can they make going into the second half? When they see that on that stage, I think then he's going to start to get the respect that he deserves.
Okay, I have a comment for that one, but it's a good comment. I agree with you. And the one game I'm going to remember in the back of my head is when they got beat by 1,785 points to UConn when they lost. Okay, so my thing is, but then, Griff, I'm going to say this. You know whose fault that is then? That's Brad Underwood's. Because then you go to Tyler and say, listen, this isn't working. Give me something else.
Yeah.
That's what the general manager is supposed to do. Because if I'm a coaching and I'm out there thinking, okay, we got to make adjustments. What adjustments are we going to make? Because you're 100% right. And if he's as good as I think he is and his numbers, analytics show it, then now today coming out of the half, or there was a play coming out of a timeout, they threw a lob pass to Zonomer and he missed it. I almost fell out of my chair. I'm thinking, what the hell? It was an out-of-bounds play that they drew up. But point being, you're right, but I think that's Underwood's thing when that happens. And if he's not going to draw plays, that's fine. But Tyler better have an arsenal in his book. I look at other teams play, and you look at timeout, it's not their head coach. It's the offensive guy who's taking that clipboard. Back in the day, it was the head coaches, Bill Self. Yeah. Now, you look at a game, that clipboard is going to somebody else because that's their job. So Tyler should have that when Brad says, like when they were getting beat by UConn, if team's going on a 10-0 run, what are you going to do? Don't just have your players go out there and go one-on-one and isolate and hope that something goes wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, so something goes well for you.
I think I've never seen Brandon and Ked in the same place at once, but I think Ked typed this.
What?
Brandon put it in there because I think the issue with the offense is KJ's. That's like
people are trying to bait me to say something. I'm not going to do it, man. I'm not going to do it.
Rise above the hate. Rise above it.
No, because it's hard not to comment on that, man. I'm just going to sit here. I'm going to be a good boy.
I can't just getting blood.
That's why you put it up there, man. That's why you did it.
Woo-sa. Woo-sa.
Woo, baby. Mike, next subject, please.
I think this is important because I do think, we talk about players we talk about coaches on the and I'm not talking about Tom Izzo being the sixth man on the court because that's okay up in Michigan State, nowhere else in the Big Ten. But what I'm talking about is a player coach. And Waggler just consistently makes the right play. I mean, it's really hard to think of him as a freshman. I got to go back to, like, if you go point guards who make the right play all the time, I'm going to go back to 2 point guards, and neither of them were at Illinois. As good as Illinois' point guards have been, Waggler makes the right play all the time, like Magic Johnson and Isaiah Thomas used to. I mean, that's even though I'm not an Isaiah Thomas fan at all, but those two guys rarely made mistakes and read the defense, took what was given them. And that's what I think Waggler does that does help Illinois elevate to the next level.
Yeah.
He's very smart and crafty, and you know what? I will say this. I don't know if people know or not. We're talking about KJ, but the Miami Heat played the Bulls tonight, and the old Illini at number 11 got the better of KJ. And KJ got the start, ladies and gentlemen, but Io put up, I think, 23 points, I believe, or something like that, and KJ didn't score, but he did start, and Io didn't start, and Io did play 30 minutes or plus, I think, or something like that. But anyway, I'm not being critical of the kid, but I would tell you with a knock on him, though. I think what hurt him last year, and I have to be careful because I don't want to make the coaches mad. A lot of people, the NBA scouts, were very negative because he had the ball in his hands too much. They think that hurt him. He was easy to guard. He had the ball, and he did, but part of that was his fault. They would try to defer to get the ball out of his hands, but he ran back to it because that wore him down, and he was easy to – because right now in the NBA, he's not struggling like that. I don't see that. And Illini fan 365 is right. This is a different team. King's a different player, and he's a sophomore now. I mean, and think about who he's played against. He's played against UConn, Alabama, Tennessee. This kid has played against Purdue. He has seen.
He might be a junior now.
Yeah, I mean, we're playing 38 to 40 minutes a game between him and Barry Wallace. I don't think there's any minutes left. Both of those two outstanding freshmen are getting 38 to 40 minutes a game. But point being, he doesn't look like a freshman, and it's because he's a freshman. We say that, but this kid looks like he's a stud, and he didn't get sped up again tonight. He has seen everything. You're going to see a box of one on him eventually at some point. But I'll tell you the matchup before we go to Brass 30. The matchup that I'm looking forward to more than any one of the season, and I think it could be player of the year implications, is him against Jeremy Fears. That kid is having an outstanding year, and people don't realize it. That's going to be a really good matchup because Jeremy is an outstanding defensive player.
Yep, that should be a lot of fun. Sturdy, you probably just got in the car from enjoying those 17-degree temperatures walking to the car. What are your thoughts on the game that you saw tonight?
Is it 17? I think it's 10.
Oh, it's 10 now?
Yeah, that's what my car says. I don't know. It's
great.
Cold, man. That's awesome. It was about what I expected. I'm expecting to win by 11, and, that's kind of what I predicted. But I just feel like it's going to be a grind because, it's really hard to come out and have the emotions every game. You're going to have games where you don't have the same energy. Shots don't fall. Things kind of don't go your way. You're not as focused, and it makes sense. Between Purdue and road games at Purdue and Nebraska, you've got, the game at home against Washington that you're supposed to win. But what people didn't realize, they looked at Washington and said, well, their record's this, and they don't realize they've got NBA guys on that team. They're a top 50 team on KenPom, and that's a quad 2 win tonight. So, they did what they had to do. I didn't think they played particularly well on the offensive end really all night, except for that little stretch in the second half. But, they did enough to get it done, and that's all you have to do. I mean, you just got to win this game. And, they led for the final 34 minutes of the game. So it wasn't like it was really ever in doubt. It was never a possession game after they went up by, I think it was 5 points in the first half. Washington never had the ball with a chance to tie or take the lead the entire game. So I guess that's pretty good when you can do that when you're having an off night.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that. I'm
sorry.
Go ahead.
Brad, I thought Washington was very physical with Illinois. I think they bumped a lot, and I think they started the game that way. They made shots tough. They made made shots tough for Keaton. They didn't get a lot of open threes. They did get some, but I thought Washington defended them a hell of a lot better than Purdue did. Did you get a feel for that at all or no?
Oh, it's very physical. They got out the first. Yates was all over Waggler the first possession. They were just showing him, look, we're going to be physical with you and get after you. The thing that's amazing is how well he handles it. He scores 22 points, 8 assists, 1 turnover, shoots 7 of 13. He only got 4 threes off because, like you said, they were really up into him. But he hits 2 of 4 from deep, gets to the rim, finds open guys. I thought the guys that missed open threes today were really Tommy and Z. They combined to go 1 for 11 from deep.
Yep.
But I thought that, Humrickhouse, hit his shots. I thought, Waggler didn't get as many. Jake Davis, they ran Jake off the 3-point line. He only was 1 of 2. So, but it was really physical at the point of attack with Keaton, especially. And I thought they tried to be physical with Merck too, but he's obviously a lot bigger and stronger. And so it didn't show as much on him, but Katon Waggler is just amazing. I'm just stunned at how poised he is. Doesn't matter what kind of pressure he gets. Doesn't matter the quickness of the guy, the height of the guy. He just finds a way. And it's really impressive. You could see him get off to a kind of a slow start, but with, gets a shot blocked on the first possession. They're really physical but he just adapts, and it's really fun to watch a guy who just kind of learns as he's playing what they're doing to him and makes that adjustment. And, the next possession, he makes a better read or makes a better play, or it's really impressive especially for a freshman.
Yeah, we were just talking about that, and I was actually saying the last time when I take a look at what he does, he makes the right read. And the point guards that I remember doing that the most were Magic and Isaiah. They just seemed to make the right read from day one. And I'm not saying he's going to be, at that level. I'm not trying to put that type of pressure on the kid, but he does make the smart play like those guys did.
Yeah, high basketball IQ, man. The kid he makes the right play, he's not really the weird part about that. A lot of guys who score 46, they want to come out and score. He scored 22, but he was content not to shoot the ball if it meant that other guys got open shots. He just unselfish, but yet can score when he needs to, and that's the ideal kind of point guard.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And it like I said, taking what's there is the smart. It's something that we talk about and we make it sound like it's an easy thing, but
yeah,
but you know how hard it is to coach, and somehow he makes the right decision most of the time.
Well, he makes it look so easy. And the thing is, Brad, we talked about it before you got here. You mentioned the Ivisic brothers were 1 for 11 from 3 or whatever. He could have had a double-double. Following up his 46 performance, we knew tonight he wasn't going to score 46. But a lot of guys, let's take a step back real quick. A lot of guys score 24 points in the second half. They don't score like that. In the first half, they don't score like that in the second half. He did. Then to follow that up again, he didn't come out. He didn't go 1 for 9. He still led all scorers in scoring and had 8 rebounds. And he, like I said to you, 8 assists when he could have had more, more than that. And also, from from a rebounding standpoint, I believe he had 5 rebounds. So it's not like the kid is still being productive. I mean, and out there, and I just like his demeanor. I know the national media this is gonna be a big story because of what he did Sunday when they go to Nebraska. It's a national televised game. That's what it's gonna be about. It's gonna be a tough game, but I don't think no matter where this kid plays at, whether it be at Duke, Nebraska, Michigan State, he's gonna show the same demeanor and it's not gonna change. I had a great interview with his coach on the IlliniGuys, and I would tell anybody, yes, we want you to subscribe. I'm telling you, it was well worth it. He broke down why this kid was like this, what he was like as a freshman. I'll give you one tease. He was 5'8" as a freshman, 130 pounds when he was a freshman. And his first time as a varsity game, he hit 2 threes from the logo. So there's a reason that this kid is like this. He's been put through the war. His team just missed out on him. That's all.
How do you feel this team set up, Brad, for that clash on Sunday, which looks like it could be, a really a classic game and one that I'm looking forward to maybe even more than the Purdue game?
Yeah, I think it's very intriguing. Nebraska is very good offensively, and they've been better defensively this year. It'll be interesting to see how they defend Illinois. They have a consistent way that they play defense. They really overhelp, and they give up backside threes a lot if you can make that pass and make that read. And that's kind of what they do. You saw Michigan the other night, and Michigan was able to kind of when they came back, they hit a couple of those, and then they got some driving lanes. But they went to Michigan and lost at the end of the game without Mass playing because he had the flu. So this is they're really good, and they just execute extremely well. They're not dissimilar to Illinois in some regards, the way they just execute what they're trying to do. The right guys take the shots, and they got They have role players who just do their job. Little Hoiberg just does what he's supposed to do, and he certainly doesn't strike fear into the hearts of the opponent, but he gets stuff done. So I think that, can they defend Nebraska? I think it's going to be a tough one, just the way they space the floor as well. But I do like Illinois' chance. I think they'll score. I think they'll score a lot of points, so it's going to come down, who can make some open shots, who gets the loose balls, tip-aways. By the way, I'm sure you guys talked about Humrickhouse, but he did such a great job today. Whether it's a steal, whether it's a tipping a rebound, keeping a ball alive, and then knocking down 4 out of 6 from deep. Good to see that from him because, and I put this on Twitter, but he went through a stretch after he got married. He was 4 for 21. And now he's 8 for 14 over the last 3 games from deep. So, he's evidently he's getting used to being married. So that's the key, right? Okay, after you get married, it takes about a month to adjust.
Well, we can blame Adelia for that.
It's her fault.
The other thing, Brad, is even though I think I said between 6 and 10, but how high do you see Waggler going in the draft?
Oh, so it was funny. I talked to a scout tonight, and he said, I've got him. He said, I actually have him 5 or 6 on my board. And he said all he does is he just does everything. And so you put him in that kind of space and he can just create. He makes great decisions in ball screens. He can get downhill. He can score from different angles, score with either hand. He can score in the mid-range. He can pull up and shoot the three. He's got range. He can be, you can play him off the ball too, because he's such a good shooter. He can really space the floor. So he doesn't have to be a guy who has the ball all the time, even though Illinois is really kind of, using him all the time. So they were Scott tonight was very high on him, said he's got him, somewhere in that 5-6 range. But I think right now he's going to be a top 10 pick. I don't think there's much doubt about it, unless he kind of falls off a cliff for the rest of this season.
Yeah. And any thoughts on what you saw from Steinbach? Because I got to be honest with you, he raised up significantly in my eyes. I think he's a borderline lottery guy.
Yeah, he's really good. I think he should get drafted there. He's so athletic. Yeah. He's bouncy. He's got he's not really, he did hit a 3 tonight, but that's not really his strength at this point in his career. But I think it will be, because he can shoot the mid range. He's such a good offensive rebounder. He can be a rebounding guy, run deep. Guy can run the floor, defend, rebound. And they love those guys in the NBA, but now he throws in, with a little bit of development, he throws in that 3-point shot, and he becomes a really, really effective NBA player who can space it and then attack the rim and do a lot of really good, be really effective. So, yeah, I liked him a lot. He really, and I had seen him on film, but when you see him go out and block Z's jump shot from 3, the area, if you look at where he was when Z caught the ball and where he covered to block that shot, it was impressive. He also, blocked Keaton on a 3, who's 6'6" kid who's been getting that shot off all year.
Yep,
so yeah, he's impressive. He's definitely impressive because they can switch, and Waggler got by him a lot, but his length allows him to do some really, come from behind too. So I really impressed by him.
Hey, let me ask you guys real quick before. Do you think this week, you look at Michigan, Nebraska, because this week decided the Big Ten title race. Purdue's got 3 losses. Michigan, Nebraska play this week. Tomorrow night, Michigan plays Michigan State, and Sunday, Illinois and Nebraska. Do you think the title can be decided now in 1 week, or what? Because those are the heavyweights.
Brad?
Well, I don't know if it'll be decided, but I think obviously the people who win Friday and Sunday's games move into they're in the driver's seat then. They control their own destiny to win the Big Ten title, because whether Michigan wins or Michigan State wins, Illinois has to play one of those teams. And whether, if Illinois beats Nebraska, then, they're a game up on them. And, they've got a chance to beat either Michigan and Michigan State. And, that's the crazy part about it, is how good these top 5 teams are.
Yeah.
And boy, it would have been nice to see a Big Ten with this kind of top heavy lineup when you used to play each other twice.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
I mean, can you imagine those games would have been fantastic, but
can you imagine
I can see I think you got to win 7. I think you got to win 16 games to have a chance to win the Big Ten. I mean, I think if you win 17, you're probably going to win. But if you get to 16-4, I mean, you've got a great chance to get a share at least, and I think 17-3 can win it outright. I could be wrong. Maybe somebody goes, but you got a lot of these matchups where somebody has to lose, whether it's Illinois, Nebraska, Michigan, Michigan State, and I still wouldn't totally count Purdue out. We know they can get on a heater and run, and they'll be able to pull some upsets or maybe beat some of those teams. So
didn't they lose 4 in a row? Was it last year or was it 2 years ago?
I think it was 2 years ago.
Yeah,
they've had historically, I mean, teams have, that's what's crazy about this 10-game win streak. Illinois really hasn't, and I know they've had, obviously Purdue was a tough game, and they've had some games where they had to kind of grind it out a little bit, but Purdue's the only really am I crazy? Maybe I'm remembering wrong. Have they really had a game that was tight during this 10-game win streak other than Purdue?
No.
Where it was down to the stretch, they had to make plays. Or Northwestern, I guess they extended it. You know what I mean? But Iowa was tight, I guess. But they had a big lead in that one early, and they kind of gave it away late. But I mean, it's kind of been cruise control, and they've just been almost like this. These last 10 games, they've been dominant. I mean, I guess they're number one in the country over the last 10 games in efficiency, it sounds like. But I'm looking at the numbers. But, man, it's just been impressive to watch what they do. And they haven't really had that. They haven't laid an egg. And so, Michigan State had to kind of get bailed out at Rutgers. Fears made some big plays, but they probably got away with a few and threw in. Cohen Carr throws in a 3, and obviously that's not his strength. That really kind of saved them. And so, yeah, all these teams have had games where they've kind of struggled and haven't been great. And Illinois just kind of done the job and been really consistently good. And tonight was kind of the emotional letdown, but at the same time, they still never trailed, and it was never really a possession game the whole night.
Yeah, and one thing I'd throw out there, just as a total interruption, what we're talking about, we got over 1,000 people on here. As many people go to IlliniGuys.com, our YouTube channel, and subscribe there. We've been hanging around the 1,997 number for about a week now. So a bunch of people go jam down the subscribe thing, see if we can get well over 2,000. Brad, Ked, real quick, I'm not asking for a dissertation. Who's going to win tomorrow night, Michigan or Michigan State?
I think Michigan State, because it's a home game. Michigan, not because Michigan won, but I think Michigan State, they play really good defense. I think the best two teams, it's kind of a tie. I really like Nebraska. I think Nebraska's good. I think they're really tough. I think the best teams are Illinois, Michigan State, and I think Nebraska, and I think Michigan is a really, 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 really close second, I guess, behind those three teams. But to answer your question, I see Michigan State winning. And it's only a 1-point favorite.
Yeah. Brad?
Yeah, I mean, I really like that matchup. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think Michigan will win. I just think Michigan State's too offensively challenged. They're the best defensive team in the country. I think they've just struggled offensively. And I don't think they have the matchups maybe offensively to win. I don't think Fears, you can consistently depend on Fears to. He's a great point guard, but if he has to score 29, that makes it hard. I don't think that's what that's not his best game. And so I think Michigan will pull it out. I think it's going to be really close. Now there could be a crazy call where Michigan State gets a win. We know how that works at Breslin.
Oh yeah.
But no, I just think I think Michigan, Michigan State, Illinois, Nebraska have kind of separated themselves. But I think all 5 teams, whether it is throwing Purdue in the mix there, all 5 of those teams, I feel like they are legit Final Four good. And they're all ranked in the top 10, I guess, or 12 or whatever. So I guess that makes sense. But I think all those teams have a chance to get to the Final Four, and depending on the matchups and the draw and see how it goes. But man, it's a great top of the Big Ten.
Yeah, I think that's so true. So, folks, we're about ready to wrap up. We will definitely have a halftime show against Nebraska, and we may even do a pregame show. And obviously, we'll do our end of the game as well. So we'll see about everybody's availability, but we'll have a lot out there for you. Ked, you go first with your final thoughts, and they'll let Brad wrap it up, and then we will get out of here so people can get to bed, so they can get to work and finish up their Friday.
Tonight, big win over Washington sets up for a great day on Sunday. If you're an Illinois fan, obviously you are, because you wouldn't be listening to this podcast. This is what you want. You have a great opportunity to go into Nebraska. If I had any concerns about Sunday, I think Nebraska runs really, really good sets. I think Illinois wins that game. One reason, this has to be one of their best defensive games. Fred runs really, really good sets. They back cut a lot. They check a lot. They slip a lot. And I saw them do that to Michigan. I really did. Michigan just out physicalized them. But I'm telling you, if they don't play defense Sunday, no matter how good they score, this is going to be a nail biter unless somebody gets in foul trouble, because they are going. I mean, they did it to Illinois when they were in Champaign. So the key to the game Sunday to me is defending. Enjoy this because you're on a national stage, Illinois. Everybody be watching, not just because you're the 9th-ranked team in the country, but you got one of the best players in the country playing. So everybody's going to be watching this game against, like they did last Saturday against Purdue.
Brad?
Yeah, I think Illinois did what they needed to do tonight. Took care of business. They, did a nice job of just doing enough. I mean, they never could pull away, but when you're going to have letdown games, you want to win the game when you're not at your best. And now they got to be at their best on Sunday at Nebraska if they want to win that game. And hopefully it doesn't take an otherworldly performance where a guy scores 46, but at the same time, hopefully it's a great team performance. They're able to put it all together and find a way to get a win, a top 10 road win, which would be huge, not only for their Big Ten title hopes, but getting that path that we've talked about, St. Louis, Chicago, and Indianapolis going in the NCAA tournament. These games, all these teams want to be in those places, and the team that's able to come out on top here is going to be the team that probably gets that draw and has a chance to have basically kind of a home court to get to the Final Four.
Yeah, and getting. It could be just incredible. This Illinois team's on a great path. I'm looking forward to this game probably as much as any game we had this year. Certainly didn't expect Nebraska. A lot of people will claim, I thought they were going to be really good. I did not. I thought they'd be, middle of the road Big Ten team. So kudos to them for that. Illinois has an opportunity to even it up and for the season with them. I think it's going to be a fantastic game, and Nebraska's a bear to play at. Got a great facility, so I think this game Illinois will have to be on the top of their game to have the opportunity to win, and I think we'll see them rise to the occasion. It should be an entertaining game. So, folks, we will see everybody on Sunday afternoon at, like I said, a minimum. We will do halftime and post game. We may even get a pregame. Watch on Twitter and social media, and when you get news when we're going to be on, please forward it out to your friends. And then the other thing is if you get the opportunity, you can subscribe to IlliniGuys.com YouTube channel. We would love to have more members there. And if you want the real stuff where you can go and talk to Ked and Brad and Matt and Marcus and Larry and myself, you can go to IlliniGuys.com. You get on the message boards and you have the opportunity not just to read or listen to us, but to actually have, like, why'd you say this and what'd you mean by that? So that's a huge advantage, only 27 cents a day. And we would love to have folks there and do that as well. But until then, folks, until Sunday, go Illini.